Hello, frugal friends. Welcome back to the channel. We have Chef Laws with us again today. He is going to show us how to season and prepare a pork butt. So what do you have here, Mr. Laws?
Uh, Pork butt's been washed and cleaned. Um, Most people use the shank, the butt. It doesn't matter. I like to use the one with the bone in it. It seems to hold more flavor. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a dry rub. I'm going to dry rub it really good, and then I will put it in the oven at 300 for about 4 to 6 hours. So I'm going to start with my rub. I have ground mustard. I have ground garlic. I have paprika. I have brown sugar. I have Lorry seasoning salt. I have white sugar. I do a half a teaspoon of salt. And a half a teaspoon of black pepper. Okay. Now what I would do, I'll just mix this up really well. Take my pork butt, once it's been washed already. I have some liquid smoke here. Most people think smoke is too strong. I like using it, especially I'm going to do it in the oven to give a nice smoky flavor to it. So I will just sprinkle some of that on there. Just hold it real good. This is also will help your rub to stick to it. So now I will take my rub, right? And I'll sprinkle on there like so. Then I just start massaging it. You want to get all sides, the front, the back, and the sides when you're doing your rub. Now, doing my pork, as you can see, I'm just rubbing it in. I'm not rubbing too hard. I'm just massaging it a little bit. Now, most people, I like to cook my pork fat side up. I cook it that way so the fat normally is to render down into the meat so it'll be more tender. But you can cook it however you prefer, but I just like doing mine that way. Okay, now my pork is nice and rubbed. If you can see the color on there, that's what you want. You want a nice rub in there. Everything's married together. Everything's blended together. So now what I do, my fat side's up. So now what I do, I will take foil, aluminum foil. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this pork in the foil. Like so. And I'm going to roll it over. Now when I roll it over like that, I give a nice tuck on it. Remember, you got a bone over here, so be careful. You won't puncture your aluminum foil there. So what I'm trying to do is get a nice seal on this right here. Remember that fat side's on the bottom, so I'll flip. Okay? So it's nice and tight. I put a piece of foil down because it's going to leak, because it's pork. Won't leak that much. So now we're ready to go into the oven. Alright, so pork is getting ready to go in the oven. Correction on the cook time. I'm going to cook it for 225 for 6 hours. So that's a correction on that. Okay, pork going in the oven at 225. We will see when it get done.
Okay, Frugal friends, Mr. Frugal Laws here has his pork butt all done, and he's gonna show you how he chops it.
Well, actually, it's a picking form.
Oh, a picking. I'm sorry.
So as you can see, fat side up here. Look at all that juice. All that juice is gonna come down right in that pork. So what I do is I just kind of pour mine a little bit, just like this right here. It's nice and hot, not too hot where it's gonna burn your hands. So look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, real moist and tender.
Nice, tender, and juicy. So we end up cooking this at
3 hours at 225, and then an additional 4 hours at 300.
Right. Look at that. This is what I'm talking about with the bone. You see that? You can never go dry with a bone. That bone holds more flavor.
Yeah.
And it's you know, like, look at that. Look at the juice coming out of that thing. Yeah. And what I do is I'll give it a taste and make sure I don't need to add any more.
Look at that. The bone just pops right out.
Yeah.
So cook it low and slow.
Low and slow. That's right. I do have juices here on the bottom, but I don't use those because it tends to make it like I did a rub and then it sat, then it cooked. So it could be either too salty or a tad bit sweet. So I'll just, if I need any more seasoning to it, I add a little Lawry's and a little liquid smoke to it.
We're gonna let Mr. Chef Laws finish picking this pork butt, or pulling.
Pulling, yeah.
And then we're gonna show you a plate. We're gonna plate it up and let you see what it looks like. Okay, Frugal friend, here's our finished plate. We like to put our pulled pork on a piece of bread, and we like to put some barbecue sauce over it and enjoy it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, give us a like, or share it, or leave a comment, or subscribe. Thank you for watching, and as always, be blessed.